Welcome back everybody, my name is Nick930 and today I wanted to give you guys 5 helpful tips for Rainbow Six Siege. Today's video is going to focus completely on the Fuze operator for the attacking team. Fuze is a pretty straightforward operator that excels at taking point and breaking up good defensive positions. But if you're not careful, you could end up screwing your entire team over, which brings me to my very first point. Don't fuse the hostage. At this point you've probably heard this a million times, but now and again you'll run into a player that mistakenly forgets that you're trying to rescue a civilian and sends an explosive cluster charge right into the hostage's face. Don't be afraid to use Fuze in the hostage game mode, he can still be pretty effective, just be incredibly careful. Make sure that wherever you place that Fuze charge, it has no chance of hurting that hostage. Don't waste your cluster charge. When the match starts, don't run to the first door you see and place that cluster charge on it. Take full advantage of your drones and plan your attack carefully. Try your best to save your drone at the start of the match so that you have as many as possible when the attack phase begins. If you lose both of your drones but still want to plant some cluster charges, I recommend bombing directly above or near objective rooms. Try and find wooden floors directly above commonly used closets and side rooms that defenders like to hide in. Chances are they won't have time to react or escape the room, giving you an easy kill. Now consider your cluster charges placement very carefully. This tip kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about how the charge itself actually works. You can only place this device on a breakable surface like wood or plaster. As you plant the device, you'll make an incredibly loud clicking sound signaling to the enemy that you're about to use a Fuze device. Once you detonate the charge, 5 small hockey puck looking explosives shoot out the other end, and they move from right to left and detonating one at a time. Placing the cluster charge lower or higher will affect the trajectory of the explosives, and so if you want them to go further into the room, try placing the charge higher on a window. If you're trying to concentrate the explosive into a smaller area, try to place the charge lower on that window so that the explosives will bounce off of cover on the other side of the wall. Be incredibly careful about where you stand after detonating that charge. Sometimes the grenades will bounce back at the wall and they can kill yourself instantly. Always have yourself and your teammates move back from the wall if you plan on using a cluster charge. And finally, if an enemy defender is playing castle, take complete advantage of it. Place your charge on that castle window. This almost guarantees that you can't be shot at when placing the device. Just be mindful of a hostile listening for you and trying to run outside to kill you as you're planting. Which brings me to my next point. Only plant when you have backup. When planting a Fuze charge, make sure you have at least one teammate watching your back, even if you're planting outside. Enemies will often run outside to shoot you if they suspect what you're doing. If you're the last man standing, you're better off sticking to your firearm. Avoid using the cluster charge. Placing them puts you in an incredibly vulnerable position that a smart defending team will almost always take advantage of. And number 5, know your weapons. Now, this has more to do with Fuze's guns than his special ability. Fuze has access to 3 primary weapons, a riot shield, an AK-12 assault rifle, and a light machine gun. Now, the riot shield is practically useless and I highly advise against using it. It will make a lot of noise as you move through the map, making it much more difficult to surprise enemies with that cluster charge. And the shield itself is one of the smallest shields in the game, offering very little protection. The AK-12 is a great medium-range firearm with decent bullet damage and a moderately fast reload time. It has a decent rate of fire and can be used to great effect to take point for your team and clear rooms. The light machine gun is a monster with very high recoil and impossible to control hipfire. It can completely obliterate wall cover, making it excellent for creating sight lines, but its weaker damage model and slower handling make it a more difficult weapon to use in close range. Never hip fire this weapon. The spread is all over the place and you just won't get the kill. And be aware that Fuze is a very slow character overall, even with the AK-12 equipped. He has maximum armor, making him a great bullet sponge, but it's not the character you want to use to separate from your team and start flanking. Stick close to your squad and lead the way with Fuze, and focus on using his cluster charges in the most effective way possible. I hope this video was helpful, and I plan on making more videos like this one. Be sure to leave a comment below on what you'd like to see, and be sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Rainbow Six tips and tricks.